So this is still, I don't think this is review, although it might be. With some groups I got to this part, and with some groups I did not. So, but what we're going to now is what these vowels actually look like when you see them in words, because they only look like this if they start the word. For example, the word asana starts with this letter, it's a double A. So when you write out asana, you're going to start with that A, right? And then you're going to hit the sa and the na. So this is asana. And so because the word starts with A, you'll see it written. But then if you notice that here is another A, sa, and here's another A, and you don't see it. Okay? Because there's a very specific system for once vowels come into the middle of a word. Okay? Middle of the word, you're never going to see this again. So for that we have a different system, which I'm going to explain right now. Okay? So I've already spoken about the concept of the implied ah. Remember that whole thing? Remember how the reason why we're chanting it, we're saying ka, ka, ga, ga, nya. We're giving each letter an implied ah. And in English, I give you an example that we do that in English too with letters. We say F or G. We have sounds that we have to put either before or after the letter in order to be able to pronounce the actual letter. Y, you know, D. But in Sanskrit, they don't change. You don't have some in Sanskrit that are before and some that are after. They're all after, and they're all ah. Okay? Every implied sound is the same. That's why this is ka, ka, ga, ga, nya, etc. Okay, so here's a system that will allow you ultimately to come closer to reading and writing. Okay? So, we're going to use the letter ka as an example. Okay? So we're going to use ka in every example. Okay, so if it's a regular ah, there's no mark. Because as I said, it's already implied that it's an ah. Okay? If it's a long ah, then there's going to be a bar after the letter. This is now ka. Okay? If it is going to be ki with a short e is going to be before the letter with a line attaching to the top of the letter. If it's going to be a long ki, then the line is going to be afterwards and then connecting. If it's a short u, then it's going to be underneath with the open part facing up. And if it's a long ku, it's going to be underneath with the open face pointing down. Okay? Make sense so far?